Hello there voltage modular people, PoohBear here and welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be creating some sounds using just a filter. Now I thought I'd start this video just going over a few different types of filter within voltage modular and probably a bit more particular to voltage modular in certain cases of why they're working that way. But you could put filters into probably several different categories to be honest, but I'm going to put them into two different kind of categories between filters which can self-oscillate or self-resonate or actually have feedback. That's really the technical term I tend to refer to them as self-oscillation. Filters that won't, so digital filters usually don't. Yes, this is obviously digital because we're in a software world, but it's obviously meant to be simulating an analog filter. I couldn't get that one to self-oscillate, could be something I'm doing. And then we've got some other funny ones down here, which is probably more to do with VM. And what I mean by that is obviously if I put a cable, let go, you can see it goes quiet, and the same with this one here as well. And that's probably the way they've been designed. You know, I've built modules in the past that if I haven't got an input and an output connected, I won't do anything. Because what's the point? What's the point of doing something if I've got something in and it's not going to go anywhere, or vice versa? So that could be that. And then obviously we've got these little ones over here which need a little bit of stimulation. Once I've got the stimulation, we can obviously do something with them. If anything, cut that off. If anything, these are the ones which could actually catch people out, because it could be that they've got some things connected, some things are working, then they disconnect them and oh, they've still got a sound going on, and they're probably sitting there going, hey, why have I still got a sound going on? And as I say, these ones are self-oscillations, so we can easily have a play with them. And to be honest, this is the area which we're most interested in, obviously, when we're doing our sound design today. And as I say, there's many other obviously filters within voltage modular. This is the one I'm actually going to be concentrating on, is from the new VM900 range, mainly because it's a new toy. But just before we step into that arena, I just brought up this PSP Nitro here just to talk about a couple of little things that you see on filters. Like on a lot of them you see this 1224, 1224. It's talking about the slopes. You will hear other filters talk about 2-pole, 4-pole. And this is really what we're talking about here. So let me just pull this down here a second. So we've got ourselves a 1224, and this one actually goes up to 36. You can get them to go higher, and basically it's a sharper and shorter cutoff. I don't know if the Yoko within VM, I remember the Yoko, I'm pretty sure in Reason that went up to like 192. It was a brick wall cutoff, you could say. So this is just your drop off of how it's going to look. And the resonance is really where the filter starts to cut in. That's what you can emphasize. So by pushing the resonance up, this is what's really happening. So you could have your your fundamentals up here, and then you could be emphasizing some harmonics a bit further down to when you're doing it, shaping your sounds. But anyway, let's jump in and actually create something. As you can see, we've got ourselves a number of devices laid out. They're all in a default state, so you can follow along with this. First thing, I'm going to grab the mixer and just put that out so we can hear some sound a little bit later on. I'm going to be using my store and forward as a pulse, rather than using clock dividers and all the rest of it, because my store and forward has a swinger on it. So I'm just wiring up the pitching gate. I'm going to hit one note on my keyboard only, and then I can just dewire that. Because this needs a note inside. So if I was to take this gate, put it into there, put the link mode on, you can see we've got ourselves a bit of movement already. As I say, I might sort of do this swing now. So let's just turn that up, turn it up. I'm putting it up to around about 19, doesn't really matter. I'm going to put this to 16ths as well. So let's just quickly just do a simple little pattern there. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually build some sounds up with using the filters. So I'm actually going to hold down my Alt key as I make a copy of that to start with. I'm going to take the sustain all the way down on this envelope. Please note that, because I'm going to be using a few of these envelopes, and obviously it means I don't have to change the sustain on all of them. So let's grab an amplifier to start with. And so let's just do a basic setup. So I'm going to take a signal from my filter into my amp, from my amp into my mixer. Then if I turn up the resonance, or in this case it's called regeneration, and then I'm just going to open up my amp a little bit. You can hear we've got ourselves a tone. Hey, that's quite cool. I'm just going to push it all the way open, so it's going to be a higher pitch. Then I'm going to take a copy of this particular envelope. So I'm going to now control my amplifier with this envelope, and I'm going to use my gator to open and close, or fire off the gate, should I say, into my envelope. As you can hear, we've got ourselves a little clicky sound already. As we open up the decay, you can hear it gets obviously a lot more fuller. And obviously if we open up the release, we've got a lot more of a tail going on. That kind of mutes it, the decay kind of mutes it. I'm going to set these roughly, I don't know, just around about the 300 mark. I think that's 270, that's 300. I'm going to put this into exponential mode, so it's making it nice and sharp. And then I'm going to actually take the envelope out again, and I'm going to connect it to the filter. Hey, so you can have it a bit more metallic-like, or a little bit more wood-like. So that's quite a simple one. So, in fact, I'm going to take a copy of these. I'm going to change my amp back into the linear mode, and obviously I need to wire that up into my mixer. And I'm going to take a signal again from this one. Envelope, I'm going to obviously control the amp with, and I need to take a bit of data from somewhere, so I'm just going to make myself a copy of this gate up here. Just change the pattern ever so slightly. Let's control this envelope now. And this time, let's bring the frequency right down. And we're going to also take the envelope out, and let's control the filter. And I'm going to start to bring the decay down. Probably around about 100 milliseconds. You might want to go a little bit lower, depending on what sort of sound you want. And in fact, I'm going to grab myself the limiter down. Just go via that so I can push that up a bit more. I think these are out of time, I think. That shouldn't be. There we go. Let's move these to one side, shall we? And again, let's do the similar sort of thing. Well, actually, I might as well take a copy of all these. Same thing, we're going to obviously take an output signal going off to my main mixer. We're going to get the input from the filter, and then we're going to obviously control the amplifier by that envelope. We're going to need ourselves another gator, so let's just move another one across. Slightly different pattern. Let's hit reset. Let's take that output. I just need to hit reset now. And also we've got something going on, but I'm going to push this up. We're not going to connect up the envelope this time to the filter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take myself a little bit of white noise and add that into this amp. And I'm going to take the frequency range down on the filter. So you might have to actually just turn your knob down if you use a different filter. And here you go, we've got ourselves three simple sounds going on. I think the final thing what I'm going to add on to that is, I think I need a little bit of reverb going on. Not sure if I've got a reverb unit kicking around. Let's just go and find one. sounds a lot better already. And there's nothing obviously stopping you taking this reverb unit and maybe you would add it over this side. Right, just a couple of things to go over and then we really are done. One thing I do tend to play around with a lot more, which I haven't really done in this particular session, is I do play around with my gate lengths, because the gate lengths will really affect the sounds quite a bit. We've got quite a longish gate at the moment, and that's quite a short gate. But the way I've configured these up, you can't really hear the difference. So let me go and find where's my amp in that? Right, let's go and grab this. Bring this back over. So let's have a play around with something like the snare, probably. Let's have a look. Okay. So gate lengths is not a real big difference in the sound between the two. There's a subtle difference, not a lot. But what I'm going to do here is going to leave my length up, and I'm going to slowly push up the release time. And hopefully you didn't hear any difference. But the big difference now is, let's bring the gate length down. So really what I'm saying is when you set these things up, is to bear in mind your gate length, and obviously you want to configure things so different lengths or even different velocities, you're going to get these subtly different sounds what are going on. It does really affect things. Again, if you listen to that genitive piece which I produced, that's what's happening with the drums a lot as well. I'm really playing around with the gate lengths, and that's what's changing the sound of the drums to make them, give them a bit of movement. The other little thing just to touch on, it will be something like with something like the kick. The kick was the second thing we did, wasn't it? If I really wanted to thicken this up, I would give it a bit of sustain back. Probably not too much. And again, having to play around with these as well, then play with your length. That's like very, very real tiny kind of a gate length that is. But as I said, bear that in mind. Do play around with your gate lengths when you're obviously creating these sounds as well. So in the next video, what we'll go over is actually configuring up multiple gators together, because you may have noticed actually at the moment I'm using all these outs at the top. I'm not using the global stuff. I'll go over a bit more about the global stuff and when you should use it and when you shouldn't use it. Like in this scenario which I've set up, you should never use the global stuff because we've got the same channel number, and if you try and use the global now, you're going to get funny glitches, because what's going to happen is it's trying to write its stuff to the global channel, and as these are coming down and hitting their notes and all the rest of it, they're actually going to be writing off, and whoever writes last to the global channel is going to get the data which is going to come out. So you get funny glitches when you've got it configured in this kind of way. If I change these channels to two different channels, so that's say number 2, that was number 3, you never get them glitches if you put these all to the global. So that's just something else. I'll go over that in the next video, and we do multiple patterns and we get this configured up so we're doing multiple things with the drums, and as I say, with the gators and using the flip-flop switches as well. So thank you for bearing with me in this particular video, and bye for now.